The desperate mother captain. Marcus Wolf stood at the observation deck of the UES Defiance, watching the dying colony world of Kepler 442b through reinforced transparasteel. The planet's surface was scarred with burn marks from orbital bombardment, its once green continents now brown wastelands. 3 months had passed since the Vexathari Empire declared the Outer Rim colonies expendable assets and began their systematic extermination campaign. The comm station crackled to life. "Captain, we're receiving a transmission from the surface. Emergency frequency." Marcus moved swiftly to the bridge. "Put it through, Lieutenant Torres." A woman's voice filled the bridge, crackling with static and desperation. "This is Dr. Zara Kimmel from Research Station Omega-7. Please, if anyone can hear this, we have children here. 43 children under the age of 10. The Vexathari left us to die, but we're still breathing. Please, just feed my children." The bridge fell silent. Marcus felt his jaw tighten. These weren't his people, weren't even his species. Dr. Kimmel was a Zentari refugee scientist who had been working on agricultural research when the war began. The Zentari were known for their purple-tinged skin and exceptional scientific minds, but they were physically frail compared to humans. "Captain," Chief Engineer Rodriguez whispered, "our orders are to avoid civilian contact. Command said the Outer Rim is lost." Marcus stared at the planet below. 43 children. The number burned in his mind like acid. He'd seen too many colonies fall, too many families torn apart by this war. But this time was different. This time, someone was asking for help while they still could. "Dr. Kimmel," Marcus spoke into the comm, "this is Captain Marcus Wolf of the UES Defiance. What's your exact location?" "Grid coordinates 247.8 by 156.3 northern continent." "Captain, I need you to understand something. These children aren't all Zentari. We have human children too, orphans from the Henderson Colony massacre. I've been caring for them since their parents died." Marcus closed his eyes. The Henderson Colony. He remembered that name from the casualty reports. 7,000 civilians, including 800 children, wiped out in a single day? "I'll work in your minds," Dr. Kimmel continued, her voice breaking. "I'll scrub your decks, clean your waste systems. I'll do anything you ask. Just please don't let these children starve to death down here." Lieutenant Torres looked at Marcus with questioning eyes. The rest of the bridge crew waited in tense silence. They all knew the regulations. They all understood the risks of planetary contact during wartime. But they also understood something else, something that separated humanity from every other species in the galaxy. Sometimes doing what's right matters more than following orders. Marcus straightened his shoulders and made his choice. Breaking protocol. "Torres, prepare a landing shuttle. Full medical and supply load out." Marcus's voice cut through the bridge's tension like a plasma cutter through steel. "Sir," Navigation Officer Park spoke up, "the Vexathari patrol routes show 3 heavy cruisers in this system. If we break orbit, we'll be detected." Marcus turned to face his crew. These men and women had followed him through 14 major battles, trusted his judgment when admirals back on Earth called his tactics recklessly aggressive. Now they watched him with the same steady confidence, waiting for his explanation. "Listen, carefully all of you. Down on that planet is a Zentari woman who's been keeping 43 children alive for 3 months. She's not asking for rescue. She's not asking for transport. She's asking us to feed starving kids." He paused, letting the words sink in. "Anyone here want to explain to their own children someday why we flew away?" The bridge remained silent, but Marcus saw nods of understanding. Chief Medical Officer Dr. Janet Reeves stepped forward. "Captain, I can prep emergency nutrition packs for 43 children. We've got enough in stores, but it'll put us at minimum rations for the crew." "Do it. Rodriguez, how long to modify a shuttle for stealth approach?" The gruff engineer scratched his beard. "Give me 2 hours. I can mask the energy signature, but we'll be flying on minimal power. No shields, no weapons. Sir, communications specialist Hayes called out, Dr. Kimmel is still transmitting. She's singing to the children. Marcus felt something twist in his chest. Put it on speaker. A soft melody filled the bridge, sung in the Zentari language but somehow universally comforting. Behind Dr. Kimmel's voice, they could hear small voices trying to join in, tired and weak but still hoping. Change of plans, Marcus announced. I'm taking the shuttle down personally. Torres, you have the ship. If Vexithari cruisers show up, jump to hyperspace immediately. Captain, regulations state... Regulations can go to hell, Lieutenant. Some things are more important than regulations. 2 hours later, Marcus piloted the modified shuttle through Kepler 442b's thin atmosphere. The planet's surface looked even worse up close. Entire cities had been reduced to glass craters. Forests burned without end, their smoke creating permanent storm clouds. Research Station Omega-7 sat in a valley that had once been farmland. The buildings were damaged but intact, clearly designed to survive harsh conditions. As Marcus brought the shuttle down, he saw movement in the main structure's windows, small faces pressed against the transparent steel, watching with wide eyes. Dr. Zara Kimmel met him at the landing pad. She was thin, almost skeletal, her purple Zentari skin pale from malnutrition, but her eyes burned with fierce determination. Behind her stood 43 children of various species, all looking at the human captain with desperate hope. You came, she whispered, her voice barely audible over the shuttle's cooling engines. Dr. Kimmel, Marcus said gently, I need you to understand something. I'm not here to take anything from you. I'm here because feeding hungry children is what humans do. She stared at him for a long moment, then began to cry. Choice that changed everything. Marcus knelt down to the children's level as Dr. Kimmel wept quietly beside him. The kids ranged from toddlers to preteens, their faces gaunt but their eyes still bright with curiosity. He recognized the signs of long-term malnutrition, the way they stood close together for comfort and warmth. Hello, he said softly. My name is Marcus. I brought food. A small human girl, maybe 6 years old, stepped forward. Are you really going to feed us, or is this another grown-up lie? The question hit Marcus like a physical blow. How many promises had these children heard? How many times had adults failed them? What's your name? He asked. Jenny. Jenny Morrison. My mom and dad died at Henderson Colony. Marcus nodded solemnly. Jenny Morrison, I promise you this. Today, you and every other child here will have full bellies. That's not a grown-up lie. That's a human promise. Dr. Kimmel wiped her eyes and stepped forward. Captain, you should know what you're risking. The Vexithari consider anyone who helps refugees to be enemy combatants. If they discover you've been here, then they'll discover what humans do to people who hurt children, Marcus replied grimly. He activated his comm unit. Dr. Reeves, begin transport of all medical and nutritional supplies. And Doc, bring your full surgical kit. Some of these kids need more than just food. Over the next 4 hours, the crew of the Defiance worked tirelessly. Dr. Reeves treated malnutrition, infections, and injuries, while the supply team distributed food packs and clean water. Engineer Rodriguez rigged a portable power generator to restore heat to the research station. Marcus found Dr. Kimmel in what had once been the station's laboratory. She was organizing the supplies with methodical precision, making sure every child's needs were documented and prioritized. Why did you do it? Marcus asked. These aren't your children. You could have evacuated with the other researchers. Doctor, Kimmel looked up from her work. Captain, may I tell you something about Zentari culture? We believe that the measure of a civilization is how it treats those who cannot defend themselves. When the evacuation order came, 43 children were left behind because there wasn't enough space on the transport ships. She gestured to the children playing in the next room, their laughter echoing through the damaged station. I made a choice. I stayed. I used my agricultural research to grow what food I could. I rationed everything down to the last calorie. I told them stories when they were hungry, sang them songs when they were scared, and when supplies ran out, I prepared to die with them. Better that than abandon them to face death alone. Marcus studied this remarkable woman. The Zentari were known throughout the galaxy for their intellectual achievements, but Dr. Kimmel had shown something beyond intelligence. She had shown courage. Dr. Kimmel, I need to ask you something important. My ship has enough supplies to keep these children fed for maybe 3 weeks. After that, he trailed off. After that, we'll be back where we started, she finished quietly. Not necessarily. There's another option, but it means breaking more than just regulations. It means starting something that could change this entire war. Dr. Kimmel looked at him with sharp attention. What are you proposing, Captain? Marcus took a deep breath. I'm proposing we stop running from the Vexthari and start fighting back. Not just for territory or resources, but for something that matters, for the right of children to grow up safe. The Vexthari have superior numbers, superior technology, but they don't have what we have, Dr. Kimmel. They don't have people willing to die for strangers' children. The spark of rebellion. 3 days after the supply drop, Marcus received the transmission he'd been dreading. Lieutenant Torres's voice crackled through the comm with barely controlled tension. Captain, long-range sensors are picking up a Vexthari battle group. 3 heavy cruisers and a dreadnought, bearing directly for Kepler 442b. ETA 18 hours. Marcus stood in the research station's main corridor, watching the children play games that Dr. Reeves had taught them. They looked healthier already, their cheeks showing the first hints of color. Jenny Morrison was helping the younger ones learn to count in standard galactic. Torres, prepare for emergency departure. Full stealth protocols. Sir, what about the surface team? Marcus closed his eyes. He could evacuate his people and leave. It would be the smart military decision. But 43 children would die, and Dr. Kimmel would die with them, still singing lullabies as the orbital bombardment turned the research station to ash. Negative on departure, Lieutenant. We're staying. The comm fell silent for several seconds. Then Torres spoke again, his voice carefully controlled. Captain, could you repeat that order? You heard correctly. Signal the battle group when they arrive. Tell them we're here under salvage rights, recovering valuable research data. Sir, they'll scan the surface. They'll detect the life signs. I'm counting on it. Dr. Kimmel appeared, beside Marcus, having overheard the conversation. Captain, you're risking your entire crew for us. I cannot allow, Dr. Kimmel, with respect, you don't get to make that choice. Neither do I, actually. My crew already made it when they volunteered for this mission. He activated the ship-wide comm. All hands, this is the captain. In approximately 17 hours, a Vexthari battle group will arrive in this system. They will demand we surrender the children we've been protecting. I want everyone to understand exactly what that means. Marcus paused, choosing his words carefully. The Vexthari don't take prisoners under age 15. They consider children to be future threats and eliminate them immediately. So when they arrive, we have 2 choices. We can run and let 43 kids die, or we can stand and fight. He looked out the window at Jenny Morrison teaching an alien child how to throw a ball. I've made my choice. Anyone who wants to leave can take a shuttle to the edge of the system. No questions asked, no black marks on your record. But I'm staying. These children deserve to grow up, and by God, I'm going to make sure they get that chance. The response came immediately. Chief Engineer Rodriguez's gruff voice boomed through the speakers. Captain, this is Rodriguez. Respectfully, sir, go to hell. We're not leaving those kids. Dr. Reeves chimed in next. Medical agrees. We're staying. One by one, every department head reported in. Navigation, communications, weapons, life support, all staying, all choosing to risk everything for children they'd only just met. Dr. Kimmel looked at Marcus with amazement. Your crew is willing to die for strangers. Dr. Kimmel, let me tell you something about humans. We're not the strongest species in the galaxy. We're not the smartest or the fastest. But we have one trait that makes us dangerous to empires like the Vexthari. What's that? We believe that some things are worth dying for, and protecting children from monsters is definitely one of them. Marcus activated his tactical display, showing the research station's position relative to his ship. Now let's figure out how 47 humans and one very brave Zentari can make a dreadnought rue the day it decided to threaten our kids. Dr. Kimmel smiled for the first time since Marcus had met her. Captain, I may have some information that could help. My agricultural research wasn't just about growing food. I was studying the planet's mineral composition for terraforming applications. And there are massive deuterium deposits in the valley walls. With the right catalyst, Marcus grinned. Dr. Kimmel, I think you and I are going to get along just fine. When humans say no. The Vexthari dreadnought Inexorable Dawn dropped out of hyperspace exactly when Lieutenant Torres predicted. Its massive bulk blotted out the stars, weapons arrays glowing with barely contained energy. The three escort cruisers spread into attack formation, their sensor beams sweeping the planet's surface like searchlights. Captain Marcus Wolf stood on the bridge of the UES Defiance, his small frigate looking like a child's toy compared to the alien warships. But appearance could be deceiving. Incoming transmission, Hayes reported. It's the dreadnought on screen. The view screen filled with the imposing figure of War Master Kethvar, his reptilian features scarred from countless battles. When he spoke, his voice carried the casual arrogance of someone who had never been denied. Human vessel, you will immediately surrender all biological assets in your possession and submit to inspection. Compliance will result in swift execution. Resistance will result in prolonged suffering. Marcus stepped forward, his hands clasped behind his back. War Master Kethvar, this is Captain Marcus Wolf. I'm afraid I can't comply with your request. Kethvar's eyes narrowed. You cannot comply? Human, do you see the firepower arrayed against you? Your pathetic vessel would not survive 10 seconds against my weapons. You're probably right about that, Marcus agreed calmly. But here's the thing, War Master. Those biological assets you mentioned, they're children. And humans have a policy about children. What policy? Marcus smiled, but there was no warmth in it. We don't let monsters eat them. The alien War Master hissed in anger. Your defiance changes nothing. We will take what we came for, and you will die for your insolence. Actually, War Master, I think you might want to reconsider. Dr. Reeves, if you would. The medical officer stepped into view, holding a device that looked suspiciously like a detonator. War Master, my name is Dr. Janet Reeves. I'm a human physician, and I've spent the last 3 days treating 43 children who were left to starve by your benevolent empire. Kethvar leaned forward. Your point, human? My point is that those children are now healthy enough to evacuate. And in about 30 seconds, they'll be safely aboard our ship while this entire valley turns into a very large explosion. Dr. Kimmel appeared beside Marcus, her purple skin glowing with determination. War Master, you should know that this planet's deuterium deposits are highly unstable when exposed to Zentari agricultural catalysts. Captain Wolf's people have helped me rig enough explosive charges to crack this continent in half. Kethvar's confidence wavered. You're bluffing. Humans don't sacrifice themselves for alien spawn, Marcus laughed, a sound completely devoid of fear. War Master, you've been fighting this war for 3 years, and you still don't understand us. Let me explain something about humanity. He gestured to his crew, each face set with quiet resolve. We're the species that domesticated predators and called them pets. We're the species that looked at the vacuum of space and decided to live there anyway. We're the species that builds hospitals in war zones and schools in refugee camps. The bridge fell silent except for the hum of systems preparing for battle. And most importantly, War Master, we're the species that believes some things are more important than survival. The safety of children is one of those things. Kethvar studied the human captain for a long moment. You would truly die for alien younglings? In a heartbeat. Why? Marcus looked at the tactical display showing the research station where 43 children waited in safety. Because that's what makes us human, War Master. The day we stop protecting children is the day we stop being worth protecting ourselves. Kethvar sat back in his command chair, something like respect flickering in his predatory eyes. Very well, human. Keep your biological assets. But know this, your defiance here will not go unpunished. We will remember your ship, your crew, your name. Good, Marcus replied. Make sure you spell it right in your reports. Captain Marcus Wolf, UES Defiance, the ship that said no. The transmission ended. The Vexithari battle group held position for several tense minutes, then jumped back into hyperspace without firing a shot. Dr. Kimmel stared at the empty space where the dreadnought had been. They actually left. Marcus nodded. Sometimes, Dr. Kimmel, the best way to win a fight is to make your opponent realize it's not worth having. 3 weeks later, the story of the Defiance spread throughout the galaxy. Other ships began refusing orders to abandon civilians. Colonies started organizing defensive pacts. The Vexithari discovered that their empire of fear had one fatal flaw. It only worked on people who were afraid, and humans protecting their children had forgotten how to be afraid.